Hello, hello, and welcome, everyone. We are gathered here today in this timeless now to share, to expand, to express many, many things, knowing that we are continuing to expand more deeply and also simultaneously dive deep within our inner wells through our expansion outwardly. It's through our inward deep dive, inward through the heart, the pillar in our light, that we are naturally as well expanding our fields, our heart, our crystalline expressions into our total remembrance, our total embodied remembrance of our primordial essence, pure state. And we recently had a group gathering, that feels essential to share some of the elements of as, let's say, non-recorded yet recorded in the field, unified field gathering. However, there's much to express and share within this field, in this divine luminous space with all of you. And what we're going to dive into further is sovereign fields of expression, sustaining our fields and our luminous expression through all of these expansions. And what I mean by that is that we are returning into remembrance of our pure state. We are returning into total embodiment of our pure resonance through our pillar and our body and our vessel, right? And so as we expand our velocity, our frequency, our energy, and return into full harmony, coherence, and purity, what that means is our fields are expanding, right? And what that also means is other people, other energy fields of energy beyond people, are expanding information, potentiality to sense, to feel, to receive, integrate, anchor, and illuminate. Those are expanding as well, right? Meaning that what and how we're sensing through all of our fields, through all of our systems, our body systems, our heart, especially as a translator, a sensor, receiver of information, and then expander, of course, through the torus field, through the vortex and the void of the heart. And what happens is happening now as our individual fields and also collective fields, other people's fields, are expanding, right? So all the energy and information within those fields, energy and information using simultaneously, right? All of that is expanding, right? So that means that how and what we access and or sense the potentiality through all of the fields, unified field, is completely expanded. What and how we are tuned and toned through our resonance and our resonant chamber will be and is what we experience through our field, through our body, through our sensories, which is now multisensory, meaning that we're sensing, filtering, and processing with all of our systems, right? With all of our fields, with our skin, with our fascia, our neurons, our brain, our nervous system. Everything is sensing. You're walking, the pyramids of your feet, the meridians, sensing. And now, and this is continuing, right, in varying ways and waves of evolution, how people are expanding into that sensory capacity, or even the complete awareness of that, right? Realizing how you're actually sensing, right? Where you're sensing something through perhaps the body system, through the skin, the sun, the solar rays, through perhaps your heart in an event or experience, through your sensories, your ears, your feet, your hands, and all of the layers in between, your nervous system, and even the mouth, right? The mouth as a sensor, sensing the elements and the elementals, the information within. All of that is expanding soul by soul energy field through all of the energy fields. Now, what becomes in this now more dynamic, meaning that how we can continue to amplify and expand our consciousness is firstly, of course, having that awareness that that is occurring, right? And as we have that awareness of what and how we are sensing, when and as we consciously tune into those aspects of what we're sensing and refining through resonance, becomes a more expanded capacity to continue our own evolution, right? So as we realize, for example, perhaps that we're sensing through our forehead information, energy, through our ears, perhaps through beyond the crown, the mouth of God, right? Sensing information, energy, processing, filtering through the temples, through the sinus, through we could say a more generalized known one would be the pineal gland, right? Which goes into and through the brain, and all of the neurons and the sensories within the brain and the lobes, and each intricate facet of the evolving technology of the brain, the evolving, expanding technology of the skin, and of the oculars, which is the eyes. The eyes actually as sensors, and the ocular nerves, part of the technology of, we could say, collapsing. It's a word we're utilizing yet, meaning that transforming energy and also dissolving gravity and creating new perceptions, expanded awareness. Much can and is done in expansion through the vast technology of the physical body, the physical structures, the skeletal system. The vertebrae, crystalline structures, are actual structural technology, which are base foundation of our body comes into full embodiment, right, through the skeletal system. And having these awarenesses of all these aspects, I promise not to name them all. There's many different aspects, even the organs, right? Sensors, processors, filters, big filters of information, integrating, receding, refining, releasing, we could say digesting, all of that. All of these systems are coming into greater expansion, unified technology, precision utilization through conscious utilization. That means as we remember, it's not new information, as we remember that our tuning systems, right? All of our technology, our resonant chamber, which can be and is tuned through sound and through light, into our return into primordial original seed, pure tone source essence. As we become aware consciously of each of these facets and aspects, for example, sensory systems, all the varying systems, even the mitochondria, vast, intricate architecture, mitochondria, cells, DNA, the libraries within the DNA, and everywhere in between that we have not yet mentioned, endocrine and beyond, right? And the point being that as we become aware of this infinite capacity of all of our systems in full coherence and in full resonance with our pure seed, sound, we could say, our pure frequency source expression through the unified field, in full harmonization, coherence, full clarity, moment to moment, through every field of existence. That means that everything thought, everything intended, emanated, sung, sounded, toned, and created through those fields of full sovereignty and pure state are coming from the unified expression through the heart field, through the sovereign field of the full authenticity of you and your full emanation, emanating your sound, your seed, and your unique soul frequency. And so, what we're diving into today, beyond what we've already woven and expanded into, is how that through these expansive layers and waves, right, of more information becoming felt, seen, known, heard, right, filtered, processed, the priority through continued evolution, expansion, continued conscious expansion of our own awareness is to maintain and sustain, right? Return to our pure state, maintain our coherent state, and of course, create from that space and beyond there, slash within, deeply within. It's always beyond and within. However, that beyond comes within, has to come all the way within to be so. And so the importance is maintaining sovereign fields, meaning all of our fields along with our structure, structural architecture, bones, crystalline, feet, neurons, tissues, fascia, etheric, mental, emotional, all the bodies, right? Energetic. With and through all of these waves, layers, fields to maintain that full expression of our pure state in full coherent sovereignty, while other fields and other people, other expressions are expanding their fields, right? What I mean is, I would take that a step further and say that, say you're in a space with many other people, fields of energy. How are you maintaining through what you're sensing, feeling, and experiencing? How are you maintaining your field in your full resonant remembrance through and with the expanding systems, sensories, filtering, processing, energy fields, information, beyond, right? Each being, soul, human, expanding, and each other being, elemental, trees, fields, expressions, cosmic fields, planetary fields, the field of the earth field, right? Expanding, crystalline, heart expression. So while everything is returning, everyone is returning home into pure state, it also brings this high level of remembrance of simplicity, right? And the totality of our expression and oneness is really simple and full resonance. However, in addition to that, when we look at that alongside and parallel with all of, say, our body systems, which is very high functioning, highly precise technology on so many layers and waves, I've only mentioned a few. So when we begin to look at that, see that, feel that, all the layers and the fields and the expressions and the structures in between, within, as part of the totality of our whole house and home of our soul in this experience on earth through this evolutionary time, we begin to see that to come home into ourselves through our inner spaces expands into our outer and all outer spaces into the totality of oneness, right? So yes, it's simple to be all nothing, and also it's in within intricate how complex and dynamic we are. And so while we are innately light, as all is innately light, and we are light naturally pure, true, harmonized expression of ourselves, our soul spark naturally. However, as we continue to become aware, and more specifically of how finely, how intricate and expansive all of our systems are, then we actually can and do specifically co-create through intention, directed function, instruction, commands, light, energy, frequency, how we tune to maintain, sustain, and even beyond there, continue to expand our sovereign fields through the unified field, right? So that what we create and co-create from and within here, heart space, is fully coherent, unified, and fully purely expressing our seed frequency, right? So it's very intricate as we get into these different layers of harmonization, frequency, tone, and emanation of what I discuss in one of the courses, Resonant Vessel, is actually a whole course for 4 weeks that focuses on tuning all of the fields, tuning all of the resonant harmonics within the structures, the crystalline bones of the cells, returning to pure luminous cell state. It's also harmonizing through sound and light, returning, expanding luminosity to and within to pure state, so that all of the systems, physical, energetic, and fields are fully expressing expanded and sovereignty, right? So we won't get specifically into that in this video because there's courses where we dive deeply into that. You're welcome to discover on the website. However, today what we're going to dive deeper into is sovereign fields through expansion and maintaining your coherent expression where, as for example, sensing, right? Say you're somewhere, or even in your home and there's no one there, right? Or suddenly there is. Say you're sensing information, right? From who knows where, could be, depends on you. And so as you sense information, maintaining your sovereign expression, tuning, fine tuning, harmonizing, sensing. So you're very precisely aware of your field, your geometric template, your field, and all that you're emanating, so that it's very obvious, clear, and concise when you are sensing other fields and how you're navigating that, right? How are you fine tuning through and within that when you're sensing perhaps more information, more, we always have infinite access, however, more information to tune more finely into or out of, perhaps, so that everything maintains clearly and sovereignly. It's very important, right? It's very important now because people's fields and other fields, energy fields, are expanding exponentially. And it's very essential to not become an overload, right? With the systems, nervous system, even the brain and the crown and all of the solar rays and light codes create a suggestion, very much so, to feel into perhaps new intentions, refining and revising how you are claiming, commanding, and expressing your field or your light, how you are commanding your temple, your light, and your expression, how you are creating and working with fields of information and energy. And none of this is new. How we are directing our light is not new. However, as we continue to expand further, it's more and more essential to remember and to completely instruct. And we can say further, tune and direct your light in full authority, meaning with the fullness, I'm going to use the word massivity, of how much magnitude each one of you are, right? The I am presence. The I am commanding your space. The I am crystalline heart, Trinity, crystallized expression. whichever ways and modalities, energies, declarations feel resonant for you to claim and command your energy, your space, wherever you are, whatever you're sensing, however you're tuning. And what I'd like to further reference as you refine and revise perhaps what you're intending with your energy, your field, the way I feel into anyways. My perception, my actual conscious direction is it depends on moment to moment. Sometimes, many times, I'm creating different fields as I'm within or about or experiencing other fields of information, right? So, example, I just went to a crystal fair, crystal, rocks, crystal fair. Many people, many rocks, lots of information, lots of different information, varying fields of energy, intentions, information, and also conscious awareness, right? And so through that, and even beyond and before there, we could say beyond, before arriving, I'm sensing, feeling the energy, right? And through and from and within there, creating different fields to expand upon and within my field of energy, my pure tone. And as walking through, sensing, feeling different energy information to maintain and sustain my fields, my sovereignty is creating different information, right? Different fields of information, energy, light, frequency, direction, so that we're not needing to expend energy doing all these clearings and resettings and harmonization and centering. We don't need to do that as we are in our expanded luminosity, right? Our full pure state, emanating our frequency and also sustaining our sovereignty through how we are directing our light, our fields, and our energy. Now, I don't know if that's something that any of you have ever experienced, have been weaving in and through. I'd love to hear a comment from you if you are already doing this and how you are. I mean, I'm interested to hear that because this really is not new information, right? Creating fields of energy, say commands, direction, is not new. And adjusting, refining, fine-tuning our fields through these experiences we're continuously evolving into and through is actually required to continue further, deeper expansion, right? Because what is the light as we are directing it? It is functioning a certain way, right? Because, say, for example, a string or a line of information, what is it doing? It's instructing, it is instructions that are tuned and imbued with a frequency to do a specific, we could say, task, or to emit different fields. It's technology. This is technology, part of the whole of our technology, which is its own series of elaborate, intricate codes, DNA, codex. Look at the mitochondria, even has its own DNA libraries. So very intricate technology, architecture. Look at the architecture of a cell, the architecture within the cell and the mitochondria, nucleus, the architecture within our body structures, our organs, tissues, meridians. We have lots to continue to expand through, right? And as we do that through our inner well, our inner vortex of our heart and all of our technology, right? As we consistently fine tune and tune through harmony, resonance, and sound. Through harmony, resonance, and sound. What we're doing is refining our pure tone and also extending our sovereign field, right? So we're extending into the infinite, unified field, our sovereign emanation, and our pure tone expression. So that's why it's so important to continue to do so, right? The more that we come within our inner wells and expand outwardly, what that's doing is it's expanding our perception, widening our infinite perceptibility, which continues to do what? Further expands the cosmic bloom of all of our collective, unified cosmic consciousness. And every aspect, every ounce, every facet of expansion of our own fields, sovereign fields in full sovereignty is continuing to expand, raise, rise, and widen the whole. So I invite everyone to feel more into that, refining through these gateways, such as we could say Lion's Gate. Whenever, however, you're experiencing this, I'm sure it's still yet another vaster, infinite gateway within, right? Every gateway is within. Nothing is external, outward. Yeah, the planetary alignments and the star systems and all of this other information appear outwardly to be occurring, right? Lots of things occurring, information, news, right? A lot of other information to sensorially feel. However, everything really is expanded through our conscious present awareness within our inner well, within our inner vortex, our heart, through and within our primordial seed, sound, awakening, remembrance, and our great tone. So may you have enjoy this, we could say, introduction. So much, so many layers and waves we're going to yet discover, and widening as we choose, and widen as we choose, right? As we refine and return to the simplicity of being ourselves, expressing our authenticity, we further find that everything orchestrates around us, for us, with us, and within us, right? Everything orchestrates around, within, and through us as source expression in its full sovereign luminosity. That's my wish and knowingness all are returning to right now. So please enjoy the rest of the libraries on this channel. And if you'd like to dive deeper through the 4 courses, different topics, energies, they are a collaboration of sound activations and discussions where we have, in our beginning opening of each course week, we discuss, similar to here, we discuss a topic deeply, and then we experientially and through sound experience activation through the cells, the structures, the systems, through the fields, creating sovereign fields of cohesive wholeness, which you're always whole, right? You've always been whole. However, as you come into full embodied remembrance of your pure state, that is expressed through all of your fields and all of your body structures. And then, and through that, as that, is when and how you can continue to expand through creating other fields of energy and information, right? Learn more deeply about what does that mean? How do I create that? What is that? How am I creating that through sound and through resonance, right? There's so many ways that we are creating fields of information. Even now, in this video, it's fields of information. It's geometry. It's creating form, intricacy. It's creating expansion, potentiality, right? So if you have interest in any of the courses or one-on-ones, just let me know or look at the center page, CENTER page on the website to find further descriptions of each course where we dive deeply into that with sound immersions and also deep discussions where they're layered in between each other. We discuss, we offer sound, we discuss, we offer sound. So each layer opens deeper and wider the field. Discussion, sound to receive, open, deeper, wider, receive, open, deeper, continuing to open deeper and wider all of our fields of expansion. And they all are created for the individual. So it's literally for you and your moment, how you are in that moment experiencing, expanding your own sovereign fields, your own beautiful expression. So many layers, waves. May you have enjoyed this video and also enjoy the other sound immersions, discussions, podcast on this channel. If you'd like to leave a comment, how you've experienced this. Also, how are you experiencing through these transitions? How are you experiencing other fields of information, energy, sensing, filtering, processing information? How has that been for you? What are you learning, expanding through that you already know, remembering, and reintegrating of your sovereign embodied awareness? I look forward to seeing you soon. Wishing you much alignment, deep love, joy, and Lionsgate. It's a potent one. Enjoy. See you soon. Much love.